The giant alien ship hung in Earth's orbit like a dark cloud. It was 3 miles long and shaped like a needle. Inside, Commander Zix of the Valorian fleet looked at the blue planet below. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence as he studied the sensor readings. "Such a heavy world," he said to his science officer. "How do they even move down there?" Science Officer Krell nodded, her thin neck bobbing. "Their gravity is 2.7 times stronger than our homeworld. These humans must be incredibly dense creatures." The Valorians had explored 100 star systems over the past 50 years. They had met 12 different intelligent species. None came from a world as heavy as Earth. The Valorians themselves evolved on a low-gravity planet, giving them tall, slender bodies that could move with amazing speed and grace. "Prepare the welcome message," Commander Zix ordered. "Let's see what these heavy worlders are like." Down on Earth at NASA headquarters in Houston, alarms were ringing. Satellite tracking systems had detected the alien vessel only minutes ago. Men and women rushed around the control room as screens showed the massive ship now in stable orbit. "We're receiving a transmission," called out Lisa Evans, the communications specialist. Her fingers moved quickly across her keyboard as she worked to decode the alien signal. The NASA director, Frank Martinez, straightened his tie nervously. "Put it on the main screen." The wall screen flickered to life. A tall, thin alien with grayish-blue skin appeared. Its body seemed too fragile to be real. The creature's neck was as thin as a human wrist, supporting a wide, flat head with 6 eyes arranged in a circle. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in surprisingly good English, having analyzed Earth's broadcast signals. "I am Commander Zix of the Valorian Exploration Fleet. We come in peace to learn about your world and establish friendly relations." Director Martinez looked at the assembled staff. "We need to respond, and we need someone to meet with them." "I can go," said a deep voice from the back of the room. Everyone turned to see Air Force Captain John Wells. He stood 6'3" with broad shoulders and the solid build of a former football player. At 32 years old, he was one of the best test pilots in the service and had been working with NASA on the next generation of spacecraft. "You'll need a scientist too," said Dr. Ellen Cooper, stepping forward. She was shorter than John but had the confident posture of someone comfortable with challenges. Her background in xenobiology made her the perfect choice for first contact. Within hours, a small shuttle was prepared. The aliens had provided docking instructions and assured NASA their atmosphere would be compatible with human needs. As the shuttle approached the massive alien ship, John whistled. "That thing is huge, and built for a very different environment than ours," Ellen noted, studying her readings. "The ship's internal gravity is set much lower than Earth normal, about 0.37 of what we're used to." John adjusted the controls as they approached the docking bay. "Will that be a problem?" "We'll feel very light," Ellen explained. "Like walking on the moon, but even less gravity. We'll need to move carefully to avoid bouncing off walls." The shuttle docked with a gentle bump. Ellen and John put on their standard NASA jumpsuits but left their helmets behind since the atmosphere had been confirmed safe. They pushed through the airlock into the alien ship. Immediately, John felt the strange sensation of weighing less than half his normal weight. He took a careful step, finding himself moving in a slight bound. "Easy does it," Ellen reminded him, as she too adjusted to the low gravity. 3 aliens waited for them. All were tall and slender, with the same 6 eyes and bluish skin they had seen on the screen. The aliens wore flowing robes that moved like water with their slightest motion. "Welcome to the Valorian vessel," said the one in the center, clearly, Commander Zix. "We are honored to receive Earth's representatives." The alien's movements were graceful and quick. He seemed to glide rather than walk. John noticed the aliens looked at their human visitors with expressions that seemed like surprise or possibly concern. "Thank you for your welcome," John said, keeping his voice steady and friendly. "I'm Captain John Wells of the United States Air Force, and this is Dr. Ellen Cooper, a scientist specializing in biology." The aliens led them through corridors toward what they called their meeting chamber. As they walked, John felt increasingly confident moving in the low gravity. His Natural strength, developed in Earth's heavy gravity, meant he could push off with precision even in this environment. "Your vessel is impressive," Ellen said, making conversation as they moved deeper into the ship. "Thank you," said the alien to her right, who had introduced himself as Science Officer Krell. "We notice you are adapting to our gravity rather quickly." "We train for different gravity environments," John explained, not mentioning that their training was mostly theoretical until now. They entered a large room with a clear dome ceiling that showed the stars above. A table with curved seats surrounded it. The aliens moved with elegant quickness to take their places. Commander Zix gestured to 2 seats. "Please join us." John moved toward his seat but misjudged in the low gravity. He pushed off too hard and bumped the table, sending it sliding several feet across the floor. The aliens gasped, their 6 eyes widening. "I'm sorry," John said quickly, steadying the table with one hand and easily pushing it back into place. The aliens stared at this casual display of strength. The table, made of metal similar to aluminum, weighed over 200 pounds in Earth gravity. Here it was lighter, but still substantial. "No harm done," Commander Zix said, but his voice had changed. There was a new caution in it. Ellen noticed the change too. She cleared her throat. "Perhaps we could discuss what brings the Valorian fleet to Earth." The commander placed his long, 7-fingered hands on the table. "We explore space-seeking, knowledge and friendship. Your world is particularly interesting to us because of its high-gravity environment. Few intelligent species evolve on such heavy worlds." John smiled politely, but he was beginning to understand the aliens' reactions. To them, humans must seem unnaturally strong. As if confirming his thoughts, an alien assistant entered carrying drinks. The slender being stumbled slightly, sloshing liquid from the cups. Without thinking, John reached out and caught both the tray and the alien's arm, steadying them. The alien froze, staring at John's hand on its arm. The human's grip, gentle to John, was like iron to the Valorian. In that moment, something fundamental changed in the room. The alien's posture shifted subtly, becoming more formal, more cautious. "Tell me," Commander Zix said quietly, "are all humans as strong as you?" John and Ellen exchanged glances. "Captain Wells is stronger than average," Ellen explained. "But not exceptionally so by human standards." The alien's 6 eyes blinked rapidly as they processed this information. The first contact had just become more complicated than anyone had expected. The next day, Commander Zix called for a special meeting with his officers. The Valorian ship continued to orbit Earth while talks with the humans went on. After the first meeting with Captain John Wells and Dr. Ellen Cooper, the aliens had many questions. "Our scans show the humans have developed only basic space travel," said Lieutenant Mira, the weapons officer. "They have never left their own solar system." Commander Zix nodded slowly. "Yet they have evolved under crushing gravity that would kill any of us in minutes. This gives them natural strength we must respect." Science Officer Krell displayed images of Earth on the large screen. "Their planet has 2.7 times our gravity. Their bodies are compact and dense with strong muscles and thick bones. They appear slow and heavy to us, but they are perfectly adapted to their environment." "Could they be a threat?" asked Lieutenant Mira. "Any species can be a threat if provoked," replied Commander Zix. "But our mission is peaceful. We must learn more about them." Meanwhile on Earth, John and Ellen met with NASA officials and military leaders at a secure facility in Houston. They reported everything they had observed on the alien ship. "They seemed shocked by how strong I am," John explained. "I barely touched that table, and you'd think I'd lifted a car over my head." Ellen nodded in agreement. Their bodies evolved in low gravity. They're tall, thin, and physically fragile compared to us. But they move with incredible speed and grace in their natural environment. General Ryan, a stern man with gray hair, leaned forward. "Do they pose a military threat?" "Their technology is far beyond ours," Ellen admitted, "but physically they would be at a severe disadvantage in Earth's gravity. I doubt they could even stand up here without mechanical assistance." "That's useful information," the general said, making notes. Director Martinez cut in quickly. Our goal is peaceful contact and cultural exchange. The Valorians have made no threatening moves. Agreed, said Ellen. But we should be aware of our physical advantage if something goes wrong. Back on the Valorian ship, Commander Zix made a bold decision. I wish to visit the Earth's surface, he announced to his officers. We have special suits designed for high-gravity environments. I want to see their world firsthand. Science officer. Krell looked worried. Commander, even with the suits, you will be at risk. The strain on your body will be managed, Zix interrupted. The suits will compensate. We cannot truly understand these humans without seeing how they live. When the request came through, NASA was surprised but quickly agreed. A meeting was arranged at a special facility outside Houston, away from crowded areas. The next day, 3 Valorian shuttles descended from their ship. Each contained 5 aliens wearing what looked like bulky mechanical exoskeletons. The suits had powered joints and support structures that would help the aliens stand and move in Earth's heavy gravity. John and Ellen waited with Director Martinez and several government officials as the shuttles landed. When the doors opened, they saw Commander Zix step out carefully. Even with the powered suit, his movements were slow and strained. It took great effort for the aliens to walk down the ramp to the ground. Welcome to Earth, Director Martinez said with a friendly smile. Commander Zix's voice sounded tired even though he had only walked a few steps. Thank you for allowing this visit. We are adjusting to your gravity. Ellen stepped forward. We've prepared a tour of our facility with rest areas for your comfort. Please let us know if you need anything. The aliens moved like people walking underwater. Their suits whirred and clicked with each step. Sweat, or something like it, beaded on their blue skin. Earth's gravity was clearly painful for them despite their technology. As they toured the facility, showing the aliens Earth plants, animals, and technology, John noticed Commander Zix watching him closely. The alien seemed fascinated by how easily humans moved, how they lifted objects without thought, how they jumped and ran. During a rest break, Commander Zix approached John privately. Your people evolved in this crushing environment, the alien said, his voice filled with new respect. You carry this weight every moment of your lives. John shrugged. It's normal for us. We don't think about it. On my world, you would be able to jump 20 feet in the air. You would need to be careful not to injure yourself moving too quickly. That would take some getting used to, John admitted with a smile. The commander's 6 eyes blinked rapidly. There is something I must ask. In our research of your broadcasts, we have seen your wars, your conflicts, your species' fights despite your heavy world already being such a challenge. John wasn't sure how to respond. We haven't always been peaceful, that's true, but we're working on it. If your kind ever decided to leave your world in large numbers, with your natural strength? The alien didn't finish the thought. John understood the unspoken concern. We're explorers, Commander, not conquerors. We want to learn from you, trade with you, not fight you. Later that day, as the aliens prepared to return to their ship, an accident happened. One of the alien exoskeletons malfunctioned, its power failing suddenly. The Valorian inside collapsed to the ground, crying out in pain as Earth's full gravity crushed down on his fragile body. Without hesitation, Ellen rushed to help, gently lifting the alien as if he weighed almost nothing. To the humans, the 7-foot Valorian was surprisingly light, even with the mechanical suit. Ellen carried him easily to a bench while NASA technicians examined the suit. Thank you, gasped the alien, his breathing labored. I could not move. Ellen smiled reassuringly. Don't worry, we'll get your suit fixed quickly. The other Valorians watched with a mixture of fear and amazement. They had just witnessed a human female lift one of their males, plus his heavy suit, without strain. It was both impressive and terrifying. After the aliens departed, John found General Ryan waiting for him. You've spent the most time with them, the general said. What's your assessment? John considered his answer carefully. They're peaceful and interested in exchange, but they're also afraid of us now. They see our gravity as a torture chamber and our bodies as naturally weaponized. That fear could be dangerous, Or useful, the general suggested. No, John said firmly. Not useful. We need to show them we can be trusted, that our strength doesn't make us a threat. Back on their ship, Commander Zix made an urgent call to the Valorian High Council. His message was simple but would change galactic politics forever. The humans of Earth must be respected. Their world has forged them into beings of remarkable strength and resilience. If we ever face them in conflict, we would need overwhelming technological advantage to compensate for their natural physical superiority. I strongly recommend peaceful relations and careful diplomatic approach. The High Council listened with growing concern. Earth was just one world, primitive in some ways, but its heavy gravity had created a species unlike any they had encountered before. A species that could, potentially, endure hardships that would kill Valorians in minutes. The humans would bear watching carefully in the years to come. 6 months after the Valorians first arrived, Earth had changed. News of alien contact spread across the planet, bringing both excitement and fear. Most countries worked together in a new spirit of cooperation, forming the Earth Diplomatic Council to handle communications with the aliens. The Valorians had been joined by ships from 2 other alien species, the insect-like Zentari and the amphibious Nuvari. All 3 species came from worlds with gravity much lower than Earth's. All 3 were fascinated by humans. John Wells had been promoted to Major and now worked full-time with the Alien Contact Program. Ellen Cooper led a team of scientists studying alien biology and technology. They had become Earth's unofficial ambassadors to the stars. Today they were touring the Valorian ship with a group of engineers and scientists. The aliens had adjusted their gravity to 0.8 Earth normal, still light for humans but manageable for the aliens with some effort. "We appreciate you meeting us halfway with the gravity," Ellen said to Commander Zix as they walked through a large laboratory. The Valorian nodded his wide, flat head. "It is good exercise for us, and it helps us understand your world better." John noticed the aliens had been exercising and adapting. Though still thin and fragile by human standards, the Valorians moved more confidently in the increased gravity than they had before. "Your species adapts quickly," John commented. "Not as quickly as yours," replied Zix. "In 6 months, your scientists have already begun to understand our drive technology. It took my people generations to develop it." As they continued the tour, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed along the corridors. Commander Zix's 6 eyes widened as he received information through his communication device. "We have a serious problem," the alien said, his voice tight with concern. "A ship has entered your solar system, Duraxians." "Who are they?" asked John. "Conquerors. Pirates. They take what they want and destroy what they cannot take." The commander's thin fingers tapped commands into a wall panel, bringing up an image of a massive black ship shaped like a claw. "They have attacked all 3 of our species in the past." Ellen frowned. "Why are they here?" "They monitor communications. They must have learned of Earth and decided to investigate." Zix's voice was grim. "Their ships are powerful. We 3 species together might drive them away, but there would be great damage." Alarms continued to sound as they rushed to the command center of the ship. Representatives from the Zentari and Nuvari vessels were already there, communicating urgently with their own ships. "The Duraxian vessel will reach Earth orbit in 6 hours, reported Science Officer Krill. "They are not responding to our messages." John watched the alien commanders talking. They seemed afraid but resigned, as if they had faced this enemy before and knew the cost would be high. "Can we help?" John asked. "Earth has weapons." Commander Zix turned all 6 eyes to him. "Your weapons are primitive compared to theirs, and you have no space combat capability, but we have other advantages," Ellen said quietly. The alien commanders looked at her with sudden interest. "What do you propose?" asked the Zentari representative, his insect-like mandibles clicking together nervously. John and Ellen exchanged glances. "Let us send a message to Earth," John said. "We need volunteers." 3 hours later, 20 human military personnel arrived on the Valorian ship. They carried special equipment designed by Earth engineers working with alien technology. The humans were all strong, former athletes, soldiers, and climbers. Commander Zix led them to a large chamber where the 3 alien species had gathered. The gravity had been increased to Earth normal so the humans could move naturally. The aliens struggled under the weight but managed to stand. The Duraxians rely on their technology and their ship's weapons, Zix explained. But they come from a world with 0.6 Earth gravity. Like us, they are not adapted to your weight. Unlike you, John added, they are not friendly. They won't have adjusted their ship to different gravity levels. Captain Sarah Williams, a former Olympic weightlifter who now served in the Marines, grinned. So they'll be slow and weak in their own ship, just like you were when you first visited Earth. Exactly, Ellen confirmed. We've modified these exoskeleton suits based on Valorian technology. They won't make you stronger, you're already strong enough, but they will protect you from their weapons. The humans put on the suits, which fit close to their bodies like second skins with reinforced plates at vital areas. The aliens watched with a mixture of hope and doubt. Your plan is bold, said the Nuvari representative, his webbed hands gesturing nervously. But the Duraxians are vicious fighters. So are we when we need to be, Captain Williams responded. When the Duraxian ship arrived, it took up position, opposite the 3 alien vessels. It was twice the size of the Valorian ship, with weapons ports visible along its dark hull. The message it transmitted was simple and threatening. This system is now under Duraxian control. Surrender your ships and prepare to be boarded. All resources of the 3rd planet will be claimed. The response from the Valorian ship was unexpected. We invite Duraxian representatives to board for negotiations. The pirates were suspicious but confident in their superior strength. They sent 30 heavily armed soldiers to the Valorian ship, expecting little resistance. When the Duraxians entered the main docking bay, they found it empty except for 10 humans, standing calmly in the center of the room. The aliens were tall and muscular by their own standards, covered in gray scales with sharp teeth visible in their snarling mouths. They carried energy weapons and moved with confidence. What are these creatures? Demanded the Duraxian leader, looking at the humans with contempt. We're from Earth, said Captain Williams, stepping forward. The 3rd planet you're so interested in. The Duraxian laughed, a harsh sound. You are small and soft. Where are the ship's real defenders? It's just us, John said, standing beside Captain Williams. We thought you should know what you're dealing with before you make a mistake. The Duraxian leader raised his weapon. The mistake is yours. What happened next would be told and retold across the galaxy for years to come. The Duraxians fired their weapons, but the humans were already moving. The modified suits absorbed the energy blast as the humans closed the distance with speed that shocked the pirates. On their world or their ships, Duraxians were strong and fast, but in Earth normal gravity, they were slow and clumsy compared to humans. Their muscles, evolved for a lighter world, couldn't react quickly enough. Captain Williams reached the leader first, easily dodging his second shot and pulling the weapon from his hands. The Duraxian tried to fight back but found himself lifted off the ground by a human female half his size. Throughout the bay, similar scenes unfolded. Humans moved with natural ease while the Duraxians struggled against a weight their bodies weren't designed to handle. Within minutes, all 30 pirates were disarmed and secured. The message sent back to the Duraxian ship was clear. Your boarding party has been captured without a single casualty on either side. The people of Earth suggest you leave this system immediately and spread the word. This planet is not a soft target. The humans had proven that sometimes evolution on a heavy world creates the best warriors of all. Word spread quickly across the galaxy about what happened with the Duraxians. The pirates retreated from Earth's solar system, but they told stories about the heavy worlders who moved like lightning even in crushing gravity. Within a year, 5 more alien species had sent ships to Earth, eager to meet these unusual humans. For John Wells, now Colonel Wells, life had become a series of diplomatic meetings and technology exchanges. Today, he stood on the observation deck of Earth's first true starship, the EDS Unity. The ship had been built using a mix of human engineering and alien technology. "It's beautiful," said Ellen, now Dr. Cooper, director of the Interspecies Research Division. She stood beside him looking out at the stars. They would be among the first humans to travel beyond the solar system. "Hard to believe it's been 2 years since the Valorians arrived," John replied. "And only 6 months since the Duraxian incident." Ellen smiled. "That incident changed everything. Now everyone wants to be Earth's friend rather than its enemy." The Unity was preparing for its first journey to Valorian Prime, the homeworld of the first aliens to contact Earth. A delegation of 50 humans would experience a low-gravity world for the first time. They had been training for months in special chambers that simulated the 0.37 Earth gravity they would encounter. Captain Ron Butler, the ship's commander, approached them. "We're ready for final checks. Launch is scheduled for tomorrow morning." As they walked through the ship, checking systems and speaking with crew members, they passed a group of Zentari engineers working alongside humans. The insect-like aliens had become Earth's closest allies, sharing advanced mathematics and computer technology in exchange for human help, designing better environmental suits for high-gravity conditions. Later that evening, a message arrived from Galactic Central, the loose alliance of spacefaring species that maintained communication and trade routes. The message was marked urgent. John, Ellen, and Captain Butler gathered in the communication room with representatives from the Valorian, Zentari, and Nuvari ships currently orbiting Earth. The message showed an elder Valorian with elaborate markings on his blue skin. "Attention Earth authorities and allied vessels. We have disturbing news. The Kreslor Dominion has dispatched a battle fleet to the Sol system. They claim they are coming to assess the threat posed by humanity." Commander Zix's Six eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of distress. "The Kreslor are a military power. They control 12 star systems and have a much larger fleet than all our nations combined." "Why do they see us as a threat?" asked Captain Butler. "We've barely left our own solar system. The stories about your victory over the Duraxians have grown in the telling," explained the Nuvari representative. "Some now say 50 humans defeated 200 Duraxian warriors in hand-to-hand combat." Ellen sighed. "It was 30 Duraxians and we had protective suits." "Truth matters less than perception," said Commander Zix. "The Kreslor believe that if humans were to expand into space in large numbers, with your natural physical advantages, you might eventually challenge their dominance." John frowned. "So they're coming to start a fight before we're ready for one." "Precisely," said Zix. "They will arrive in approximately 14 Earth days." The news quickly reached governments around the world. The planned launch of the Unity was postponed as emergency meetings convened to discuss Earth's response. Some leaders wanted to prepare for war. Others sought diplomatic solutions. In Houston, a special conference brought together military leaders, scientists, and alien representatives to develop a strategy. General Olivia Harris, head of Earth's Defense Council, addressed the crowded room. "The Kreslor fleet includes 20 warships. Based on what our allies tell us, they have weapons that could cause massive damage to our planet. But they also come from a low-gravity world," John pointed out. 0.5 Earth normal, according to our data. Ellen nodded. "Like the others, they'll be physically disadvantaged in our gravity." "That helped against 30 Duraxian boarders, General," Harris said, "but not against energy weapons fired from orbit. We need something more." For 3 days they debated various plans. Some suggested using the alien technology they'd acquired to build defensive systems. Others proposed sending the Unity to meet the Kreslor fleet before it reached Earth, carrying human negotiators. On the 4th day, Dr. Bill Anderson, a quiet physicist who had been working with Zentari scientists, asked to speak. "I believe we've been looking at this all wrong," he said. "We've been thinking of gravity as a challenge to overcome, but for humans it's our greatest asset." He displayed a series of equations and diagrams on the room's main screen. "With the help of our Zentari friends, we've been developing what we call gravity projection technology. Originally, it was meant to help create comfortable environments for different species, but it has other applications." The room fell silent as Dr. Anderson explained his idea. By the time he finished, even the alien representatives were staring at him with what their species equivalent of awe. "Will it work?" asked General Harris. "The physics is sound," Dr. Anderson replied, "but we'll need help from all our alien allies to build it in time." For the next 10 days, humans and aliens worked around the clock. Ships from 3 more alien species arrived, not to sightsee but to help with the construction of what they were now calling Project Equalizer. When the Kreslor fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system, they transmitted their message: "We come to evaluate the Earth threat. Prepare to receive our assessment team. Any resistance will be met with appropriate force." Earth's response was delivered by Colonel John Wells. "We welcome the Kreslor to Sol System. We invite your leader to visit Earth personally to see that we are not a threat to anyone who comes in peace." The Kreslor were suspicious, but intrigued. Their supreme commander, a veteran of many campaigns named Drax, decided to accept the invitation. He would go with 100 of his best soldiers, all wearing advanced battle armor that would protect them from any treachery. When the Kreslor shuttle approached Earth, they were directed to land at a special facility built in the Nevada desert. The massive ship touched down, kicking up dust as landing struts deployed. The exit ramp lowered and Commander Drax emerged. He was tall and powerfully built by the standards of his species, with red-scaled skin and a crest of spines along his head and back. His armor added to his imposing presence, making him tower over most humans. Waiting to greet him were Colonel Wells, Dr. Cooper, and representatives from 5 alien species who had befriended Earth. No weapons were visible, but the tension in the air was thick. "Commander Drax," John said, stepping forward, "welcome to Earth." The Kreslor commander studied the human with narrow eyes. "You are smaller than I expected, given the stories." "Stories often exaggerate," John replied with a smile. "We're just people who evolved on a heavy world. We wish to join the galactic community peacefully." Drax made a dismissive gesture. "Peace comes through strength and respect. We have come to determine if you deserve that respect." As his soldiers formed up behind him, Drax noticed something odd. He felt heavier than he should, even accounting for Earth's gravity. His armor, designed to compensate for increased weight, seemed to be struggling. "What is happening?" he demanded, his voice strained as the weight continued to increase. Ellen stepped forward. "We've activated a gravity projection field. Right now, you're experiencing approximately 1.5 times Earth's normal gravity, or about 3 times what you're used to on your homeworld." Drax and his soldiers were now visibly struggling to stand. Their advanced armor whined and sparked as it tried to compensate for the unexpected weight. "This is how we feel when we visit your worlds," John explained, calmly. "Heavy, burdened, but we adapt. The question is, can you?" Commander Drax struggled to remain standing as the Earth's gravity, enhanced by the projection field, pressed down on him and his soldiers. Their battle armor, designed to make them even stronger in normal conditions, now worked against them as the extra weight became a burden. "This is an attack," Drax gasped, his red-scaled face darkening with effort. "Not an attack," John replied calmly. "A demonstration. We could increase the gravity further, but we don't wish to harm you. The field can be turned off at any time." Ellen stepped forward. "Your ships came to decide if humans are a threat. We want to show you something more important, that we can defend ourselves if necessary, but prefer cooperation." With a nod from John, the gravity projection field decreased slowly until it matched Earth's normal gravity. The Kreslor soldiers remained wary, many still on their knees. "Our planet's natural gravity is our strength," John explained, "but we've learned that each species has their own strengths. The Valorians' agility, the Zentaris' mathematical minds, the Nuvaris' ability to adapt to different environments." Commander Drax stood straighter as his armor adjusted to the reduced weight. His eyes narrowed as he studied the humans and their alien allies standing together. "You could have crushed us," he said finally. "Why didn't you?" "Because that's not who we want to be," said a new voice. Everyone turned to see an elderly man with white hair walking forward using a cane. It was Dr. Bill Anderson, the physicist who had developed the gravity technology. "I'm the one who created this gravity field," Dr. Anderson said. "Not as a weapon, but as a bridge. Think about it. With this technology, you could visit Earth comfortably. Our people could visit your worlds without floating away." The old scientist tapped his cane on the ground. "I've spent my life studying gravity, the force that holds planets together and keeps them orbiting stars. It binds the universe itself. I'd rather use it to bind people together than push them apart." A long silence followed. The Kressler soldiers looked to their commander, waiting for his reaction. The aliens who had allied with Earth watched nervously. This moment would shape the future of interstellar relations. Finally, Commander Drax gave a short, barking laugh. "Clever. Very clever." He turned to his soldiers. "Stand down. We are guests here." The relief was visible on every face, human and alien alike. Commander Drax approached John and extended his hand in a gesture he had clearly learned for this meeting. "Your species has more strength than just the physical kind," Drax admitted. "The stories we heard about humans didn't mention your restraint." John shook the commander's hand firmly. "Most good stories leave out important parts." 5 years later, Earth had become a center for galactic politics and trade. The EDS Unity had completed its first mission to Valorian Prime, and 5 more ships had been built. Humans now served on mixed crews with aliens from a dozen worlds, their natural strength making them valuable team members on any mission. The gravity projection technology had transformed space travel. Ships now had sections with different gravity levels, allowing various species to work together in comfort. On Earth, special zones had been created where visiting aliens could experience their home gravity. Colonel John Wells, now General Wells, stood at the window of his office at the newly built Galactic Cooperation Center in Geneva. Below, he could see humans and aliens walking together through the gardens. Some aliens wore light exosuits to help them handle Earth's gravity, while others had adapted through exercise and training. Dr. Ellen Cooper entered the office, carrying a data tablet. "The latest report from the diplomatic fleet," she said. "They've made contact with 3 new species in the Orion Arm. All friendly so far." John smiled. "Any high-gravity worlders among them?" "Not this time. They're all in the 0.7 to 0.9 Earth range. But one of them can breathe methane, which is a first." They both turned as the door opened again. Commander Zix entered, moving with practiced ease despite Earth's gravity. After 5 years of regular visits, the Valorian had developed stronger muscles and denser bone structure, though he would never match a human's natural strength. "The Kressler delegation has arrived for the conference," Zix reported. "Commander Drax sends his regards." The 3 of them walked together to the conference hall where representatives from 27 spacefaring species had gathered. The annual Galactic Cooperation Conference had become an important event for trade agreements, scientific exchange, and cultural sharing. As they entered, many aliens nodded respectfully to the humans. Earth was now known across the explored galaxy, not just for its high gravity, but for its balanced approach to interstellar relations. General Harris was already at the podium, preparing to open the conference. She smiled as John, Ellen, and Zix took their seats. "Before we begin," Harris said to the assembled delegates, "I want to acknowledge how far we've come. 6 years ago, humanity had never met another intelligent species. Today, we sit among friends from across the stars." She gestured to a large display showing a map of known space. "Our differences have become our strengths. Together, we've mapped new star systems, developed new technologies, and built understanding between cultures." Commander Drax, now the Kressler ambassador to Earth, stood to speak next. "When we first came to Earth, we came looking for a threat. Instead, we found a lesson." He looked directly at John and Ellen. "A lesson about judgment and assumptions." The Kressler activated a small device on his wrist. A projection appeared above the conference table showing a new page in the Galactic Council's official protocols. The title read, "Standard First Contact Procedures." The first item on the list stated, Before initiating contact with any new species, determine the gravity of their homeworld and adjust expectations accordingly. Drax continued. This rule has now been adopted by all major spacefaring nations. We call it the Earth Protocol. Later, as the conference broke for lunch, John and Ellen found themselves in the garden with Commander Zix and Ambassador Drax. They sat on benches designed to accommodate different body types, sharing food and stories. I never expected to become a diplomat, John admitted. I was just a test pilot who happened to be in the right place at the right time. Sometimes the universe has plans we don't understand, said Zix, his 6 eyes blinking in a pattern that humans now recognized as amusement. Drax nodded his crested head. True. If we had not come to challenge Earth, we might never have learned how much we could gain as allies. Ellen looked up at the sky, where ships from a dozen worlds orbited peacefully. I wonder what's next. What other species are out there? What other lessons we'll learn? Whatever comes, John said, I hope we remember what we've learned so far. Strength comes in many forms, and gravity pulls us together as much as it holds us down. Somewhere in the galaxy, on a world not yet discovered by humans or their allies, another spacefaring species was preparing for their first journey beyond their solar system. They studied their star charts, noting an interesting system with a small blue-green planet. Before they launched, their commander read the newest addition to their exploration protocols. Step 1. Check the gravity of the destination planet. If it is higher than our homeworld, approach with respect. The heaviest worlds often produce the strongest species, in more ways than one.